phone.
That's fine. Okay. Take 2.
Yes, take 2.
First video recorded was probably like, what, 20 minutes long?
Yeah, definitely.
We talked for 20 straight minutes. And the GoPro decided to freeze 37 seconds in. It's great, right?
Fantastic.
My God. Technology nowadays, right?
Tell me about it. You'd think we'd figure it out by now.
I know. Ugh. So annoying. So now we have to film at night with the phones above our heads so you can see us.
Yeah.
At night.
Some ghetto spotlights.
Yeah. It's our phones in the visors. That's some ghetto stuff right there. All right. So back to what we just talked about, right? The 2017 Ram 1500 Rebel, which is what I'm currently driving. So anyways,
let's start off with what it goes for.
All right, the Rebel. This is the Ram 1500 Rebel, right? This is Ram, or Chrysler owns Ram. Ram's version of the Ford Raptor, okay?
And Dodge don't they own Dodge too?
Who?
Chrysler.
Chrysler owns Dodge, Jeep. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. Ram is Dodge, by the way.
Yeah, Ram's just a truck. But anyways, this is Ram's version of the Raptor. It's called the Rebel. This is the 2017 Rebel. Not first impressions, but I like it personally. What about you?
I love it.
Me too.
I drove it for the first time today. Just cruising. Probably max speed was 25 miles an hour, just because we're just doing some shots, and it's great.
Yeah, we were just up at the filming at the parking garage for some film that you'll see later in this video. It was great because this truck comes factory with airbags, meaning airbag suspension, not airbags that deploy when you get into an accident. Many people get that.
Oh yeah.
Many people get that confused. Oh, my car has airbags. Yeah, mine does too. No, I mean the suspension. Oh, right? So I'm just gonna get that clear. The airbags are great. It rides really good. Like, this is one of the best riding trucks I've ever been
Insanely
in.
good.
Not only does it ride good, it handles fairly decent on the street. I just took a corner earlier, pretty quick, faster than I thought I was going to, and it handled it pretty good, right?
Yeah. If you had a blindfold on and you were sitting in this truck and you didn't know it was a truck, you couldn't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
It handles better than most cars.
Yeah, it's not bad for how big this thing is. Dude, this thing, you know how much this thing weighs?
Like a couple tons, like 2 tons.
About 5,500 pounds.
There you go.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah. 2 tons?
Yeah.
Too much. But yeah.
But anyways, it has these adjusters for the airbags, so you can adjust how tall you want the car to be. It has it has entry exit level, which is it completely airs out. One thing about the suspension I don't like is when it does air out, it like does the front, then it does the back, and then it does the front, and it does the back, and it takes literally forever, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's brilliant, but it needs to air down like you see it like the car shows.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's so much easier, so much faster, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
But continuing with the settings, it has entry exit, which is lowest. It has aerodynamic mode, which it'll go into if you go faster than 65 miles an hour. It has normal ride height mode, and then it has off-road mode. In between these modes, you have about 5 inches of difference between all of them. And I will say it's cool. It's a nice thing. They have Bilstein shocks.
Those are great shocks, European.
European shocks.
German,
They're also
German.
adjustable shocks, electronically adjustable.
Yes.
And this also has, the air suspension also has what's called self-leveling technology. So if you park on an uneven surface, it will do its best to level itself out. So you park on a hill, kind of like raise the back a little bit. I mean, it's a good idea, but
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like it's unnecessary, but that's a good idea. The concept is great. You know, you don't want your car being, you know, you're parked on a hill or at a angle and you're leaning back or leaning too much forward. So it's a good idea to have something a little more like centered.
One thing I really wanted to talk about is the looks. The looks of this truck, in my opinion, it looks good. But one thing, it doesn't look in particularly special. Like
it looks
this,
like
this, it does. This competes with obviously the Raptor, the Ford Raptor, which has been out since I want to say 2008, 2010, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so the Raptors had a while now to, you know, adapt to what the consumers want and what they like. Like the Raptor, let's say, it has a very aggressive stance.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This truck, not so aggressive. It's aggressive, but it's not as aggressive as you'd want it to be for a very off-road capable, very like mean-looking truck. The Raptor, I'd say, does good in that. Another thing is the Raptor now, it looks different. It has sort of like a wide body kit. It has a different front end. It has skid plates. It has these massive wheels and tires.
It looks ready. Like it just wants to eat the dirt.
It does. And this thing, the Rebel, it kind of just looks like the regular 1500.
It's super subtle.
It looks like the regular Ram 1500 with just a different front and rear bumper and the different wheels and tires. Besides the one and only Rebel badge that's on the back of the tailgate.
Literally like 5 inches long and an inch in height, which no one can really see. Like if you own a Rebel, you want it to say Rebel and you want people to know it is a Rebel. And with the Raptor, they have stickers all over the place. They have the big sticker on the rear, on the side skirt on the rear. On both sides, it says Raptor.
It does, and it has the things on the sides. And I want to say they did a count of how many Raptor badges they had on the interior and exterior of the Raptor.
Yeah.
I think they counted somewhere between 20 and 25 badges.
This one has literally
three Rebel badges, and then the seats that say Rebel.
Yeah. And then that doesn't include...
There's only one exterior Rebel badge, which I mean, if I like this truck, and the only thing is like I want it to look different. I want people to know that like, dude, this is a Rebel.
Yeah.
Like this will eat dirt, and this is like, it's a serious off-road car, which it is, but it doesn't really look the part. It is very capable because we took it off-road, remember?
It handles
great. Amazing on the dirt.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you were gonna get a truck like this, you want it to look, like you said, look the part. It just doesn't look the part.
I mean, I will give it that the Rebel is a fairly new concept for Ram, because the Rebel I think came out in 2016 and this is 2017.
Yeah,
so this is only the second year that they've had this car out.
It's not that long.
Mind you, Ram did have what's called the Ram Runner.
I think it's
which was think of a Raptor but more serious. It had long travel suspension. It had a weird front end. It could tackle everything in the desert. So I'm a little disappointed in the looks department because that thing looked mean.
Yeah.
But with this, it's just like they're like, oh, like let's just slap some air suspension, wheels and tires, and name it the Rebel, and that's what they did.
Slap it in the butt with just a logo that says Rebel.
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of disappoints me in that. But I will say, exterior, all right. Interior though, this is an amazing interior, I'd say. Like, I like the red accents. I like the seats. They have little tire treads in the middle with this cloth.
It says Rebel at least.
It says Rebel on the seats. I will say though, the seats, I've had this truck, it's got 9,500 miles on it. I bought it a couple months ago. And so for those 9,500 miles, I'm sorry, the tread is kind of like starting to disappear, which from sitting on it, it's flattening where they had this like raised like tire tread, which looked cool when I bought it, but now it's like flattening out. So
you can't even tell it's there anymore.
Yeah, honestly, most people don't even notice it now. Yeah. So that's they should have. I don't know. They should have just not done that at all, or maybe make it so that doesn't go away. I don't know, but otherwise, it's got all this leather and vinyl everywhere. It looks nice. There's plenty of bells and whistles. Yeah, I'd say.
It doesn't have that. Well, it does have this cheap plastic, you know.
It's got plastic in it. It's a truck.
but-
I'd expect cheap plastic. Well, it's
but-
not cheap, but plastic.
But for the price that you get it at, there is more leather and metal in this truck than you would get in any other car. Most
Yeah.
cars have this, you know, literally on the door
it's
frame.
like the cheesy, like really bad, scratchy plastic that I don't like.
Like
This
you'll
is
hear
all
it creak in your car.
vinyl and
Yeah.
leather, and it's nice white and red stitching, and I really like it. Another thing about the interior, inside the cabin, there's so much storage space.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dude, it's crazy.
There's 2 glove compartments or glove boxes.
There's 2 center consoles. There's the upper one, and then the lower one, which is really deep, that goes all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
There's compartments in the doors. There's
Cup holders.
like, I think I counted, like, there's like 11 or 12 cup holders inside of this truck. There's storage underneath the back seats. There's storage in the floor behind the driver and passenger that's like this big. It's like you can make those ice chests.
Yeah. There's more room or more compartments in this truck.
Than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You probably can lose a few items in here and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be there, like you'll just disappear. You would be like, all right, I can't find it, because there's so many. I'm not complaining, like it's great, like you have options, you know, but there's just so much, you know. Sometimes some people may say it's a little too much, but in my opinion, there's, you know, you can put more stuff in here. It's a truck. You want to be able to have room. You want the capability of, you know, putting stuff in here, loading stuff, which is great.
Another thing that I really, really like is this car comes factory with these really nice rubber floor mats.
Oh yes, forgot about those.
That have they're black, but they have the Ram logo in red. They look really nice, and they work well for when you're out in the desert. It catches all the dirt and stuff.
in the mud.
In the mud, when you go home, you just rinse them off. Whatever you want to do, stick them back in, and you're good. No carpet to deal with, except for the carpet that's underneath this rubber.
Yeah.
But that you just vacuum up and you're fine. That I thought was really cool. I do not think the Raptor has that
No, I think it just comes with those, you know, like
with carpet.
yeah, just regular.
That might be an option, but this comes standard with that.
Yeah, it's those little things that really like make this car come together. Like one, you know, the looks of the interior, exterior is a little iffy. Mud, you know, these great
The floor mats. Floor mats are nice. I
floor
like
mats. There's room,
it. Yeah, this truck is really roomy.
and you can tell it's a truck just by the way you sit, by, you know, how much room there is. There's plenty of room, and just the way it drives.
Speaking of sitting, dude, these seats are so comfortable.
I know, like you could sit on this.
I could fall asleep in this, and I can't. I'm kind of like a per se picky sleeper. I don't know. I gotta be in that. Gotta be comfortable. I gotta be in the right position to sleep. I can sleep in these. These are so comfortable.
I think I'm not kidding. You've been sitting here for about 3 hours.
Yeah, we've been sitting here for 3 hours filming, doing stuff, and
I haven't complained once.
back's fine, butt's fine.
Yeah, and those back seats, you can't adjust them just because the truck bed is back there, so that, you know, it has a wall behind you.
Yeah.
You won't even complain that you're sitting upright, just because that's how comfortable they
Yeah,
are.
these are really comfortable seats.
So that's a plus. So you know you're in a truck. It's comfortable. It rides good. Whoa.
Jeez.
People don't know how to drive.
Yeah, I'd say.
Oh, dude, for how big this car is, it's handles.
This thing handles and it
phenomenally.
stops on a dime.
Yeah.
Like,
It does
it's
not-
crazy.
Like, I was driving it earlier, it does not feel heavy at all.
No, it
For
doesn't.
5,500 pounds, it doesn't drive like 5,500 pounds.
No, and it also has the 5.7 liter third gen Hemi.
Nice.
This thing goes along nicely.
There's like, what, 500 horsepower?
It's 400, I believe,
There you
with
go.
over 400 foot-pounds of torque.
Dude, that's
It'll
fancy.
go. And I got some goodies. I got the exhaust. And I got an intake, so
Yeah.
a little more than factory, so it gets going nice.
Yeah. Dude, for a truck like this, you need something that will make you go.
And this thing will go.
Yeah.
Now, price, I'd say
That's on a
the
high
fully
end.
loaded Raptor is 80 grand. Because they have there's always a $20,000 markup, which I never understand. They're 60 grand fully loaded, but 80 grand at the dealer because they mark them up so high, and I cannot understand why. Cause It's just because they can, I think, because they know people will buy it.
But
This
now
truck-
there's a competition. You know, they might change that.
They will. They probably. But this truck is fully loaded, except for it doesn't have the tow mirrors that Ram is famous for. They're mile-long tow mirrors that I hate. This one's got the regular mirrors, which I am totally happy with. It also doesn't have the Ram box storage, which is the storage in the bed and the sides, which I don't really mind. It'd be cool to have, but whatever. Besides that, it's fully loaded. And the MSRP for it was 55 grand, which to me, not too bad. I mean, it's expensive, but look at all the stuff that you get. It's got the 5.7 Hemi. It's got an 8-speed transmission with the dial style shifter.
About that. That is, it's if you aren't used to that, like a shift knob, like, you know, click, 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 and then you're in. This will trip you out.
This is like a dial. It's crazy.
It's so smooth. You don't know when you put in the car into gear. Now it's just click, 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 and then you can feel the car kind of like jerk forward. Not jerk forward, but like give you a little like shake, and then you're like, okay, it's in gear. It's gonna go. This one is so smooth. You just turn it like a dial, literally like
It's like a big volume knob.
Yeah, and it's so smooth. You'll forget it's even there.
And most people, they're like, oh my gosh, it looks like a knob. How could you you could accidentally shift when you're like on the freeway because you're trying to change the volume. It's when you're driving, it has a lockout, so you can't do it while you're driving, unless you want to put it into neutral.
Yeah, that's the only.
Other than that, you can't put in park or reverse. So
Yeah.
it's good that they thought about that.
There's some people out there, you know, start playing with that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 4-wheel drive system. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were going 4-wheel driving, off-roading out in Stoddard Wells, which is up towards Victorville. This thing on dirt, rock, mud, handled great. I mean, we literally Baha'd this thing.
We
going like
pounded,
60 miles an hour down whoops. It was crazy. This thing handled it like a champ. I didn't think you would be able to handle it, and I thought at one point I broke something because I was going like 30 miles an hour down an access road, and there was like a really big dip. I didn't even see it. Hit it super hard. The truck probably bounced at least a foot off the ground.
Yeah, no.
Nothing broke, so proud of her for that.
Yeah.
Because usually, you know, people factory stuff breaks. But it's proven that I'm not easy on my stuff. I usually am hard and I'm good at breaking things. This thing, it's good. Built tough.
I think,
tackled the desert with ease.
Yeah. I think, dude, it handles so good. Like, especially, like, I don't know if it's just the combination of the seats, the tires, you know, the airbags, but it's not as bumpy as you would imagine going 40 miles an hour on the dirt in a Baja. This thing
Yeah,
crazy.
no, the airbags really absorb all that. Yeah. It's great. I mean, even I'm driving on the road now, and it's like, this is one of the most comfortable cars I've ever been in. I've been in BMWs, I've been in everything under the sun, and it's like, it's really comfortable.
Yeah. Most even everyday, like, you know, just economic car, like, no, minivan. My mom owns a minivan, Honda Odyssey. I cannot stand sitting in one for too long, because one, yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. So one, it's heavy. Two, when it bounces around like you have no suspension at all. It just bounces. And then three, the seats are just uncomfortable. Like the most uncomfortable seats. They're not ergonomic at all. These are ergonomic. And that's a minivan. You're supposed to be traveling in that, you know, having people in that. So that's a great plus.
I kind of want to go back to the interior because this reminds me. There's the dash right here. It has the navigation and the infotainment system. There's too much right here. There's a bunch of there's 3 dials. Yeah. There's a bunch of buttons, and then there's some where there's some blank spaces where there should have been buttons, but they're not.
It's like they're telling you like you have the full package of the truck, but you know you're missing a few things. You know that you can't have. Like, why would you pay this much money and have black blank spots? Like the buttons are like jagged, like tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, it's 2 by 6 of rows, 2 rows of buttons, and like there's
2
buttons.
by 8.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay.
2 by 6.
Okay, never mind.
But anyways, And then there's a blank button here, there's a blank button here, there's a blank button here, there's a blank button here. It's like, if they're gonna do that, why couldn't they just put all the buttons on one side and left all the blank buttons on the other? Because that really bothers me.
Yeah, especially when you're driving, you're like trying to
like find it, and you're like, geez, there's all this. It's really hard.
Yeah, no, it's distracting, and you really don't want to be distracted while you're driving.
Yeah.
And and just for me personally, there's too much going on this touchscreen.
Oh yeah, there's so much.
Like there are,
it's annoying.
There are categories.
Your dream wedding.
But there's within those categories, there's just so much going on. Like if you go to media, there's like 6 or 7, maybe 8 different apps that you can, go on. If you're looking for something, you probably have to it'll probably take you like at least a minute to look.
And a lot of times, if you're looking for something, it won't let you do anything
while you're driving.
You have to be stopped to look at it,
which is really annoying.
So annoying. And they do that in all cars, and I understand why, but what if I'm having the passenger do stuff and they can't even do it because I'm driving?
Yeah.
It's one really big annoyance for me.
But it's really nice to know that it's a luxurious feature that you can have touchscreen. So at least you have it, but you can't even use it. You're driving.
Yeah.
So maybe Dodge will figure it out sometime. Maybe they'll have it'll recognize that there's somebody in the passenger seat and you can use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, the truck is great.
One thing I really wanted to address was fuel economy. I don't know about you, but I'm an aggressive driver. We'll leave it at that.
Aggressive? Don't humble yourself.
I'm currently getting 14.2 miles to the gallon, and I'm being nice. So if you're looking for something that does not eat gas, like it's nothing,
this is not for you.
This is not for you.
Buy a Prius.
Buy a Prius. But if you're willing to sacrifice, your
money
for all that gas, it's worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. I don't drive as much as I used to. This also does have the optional 32-gallon gas tank, which is insane. 32 gallons of gas. That's huge.
That's like almost either
the regular
triple or double what cars have now in their vehicles. Like my dad's car gets, I think it's only 12 gallons. Not even 12 gallons, probably like 10.
Yeah, and the standard gas tank for these is 25 gallons. But this is the upgraded 32. So you get an extra 7 gallons of gas.
Yeah,
it's nice, but it takes about, on the cheap stuff, $100 to fill it from empty to full. It's crazy, and I go through it about a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's literally a fraction, a big chunk of your paycheck.
It's expensive.
It just went out. Well, it didn't go out the door, but it's in your truck.
Yeah.
At least it went somewhere to where you can have fun with it. So I mean, if you're serious about off-roading, and you're into trucks, this is the perfect truck. But if you're just
I would say
if you're just gonna daily it, not even take it off-roading at least once or twice a year, maybe even more than that, more than once or twice a year, it's not the truck for you. But
it's not even not the truck for you. Just don't buy a truck, because
that's what it's meant for.
Whatever truck you buy, you could buy the EcoBoost Ford, you could buy the EcoDiesel Ram, you could buy. They still, all of them get horrible gas mileage compared to what you can have. Like the Mustang, the EcoBoost Mustang gets an average of 25 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Or if you want to go way down, you can get a Prius, which gets now 50 to 60 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy, but
that's about it. Okay. Yeah, nothing else to talk
till
about.
next time.
Okay, we forgot one thing.
Yeah, we definitely did, and
we forgot about the I don't want to say beautiful, actually the most exciting part of this truck. You should get on this line.
I will. The 5.7 Hemi, which I mentioned earlier, American Muscle V8 with a sound you cannot get over.
But he had to do some modification. He had to take out the largest muffler I've ever seen. I swear, it's as huge. Big as this cabin. It's this wide.
Huge.
It's 4 feet wide.
It's so unnecessary. You buy this truck, it's got a big V8, and it's whisper quiet.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they did that. You can't even hear it.
Nah.
But if you chop that muffler off, like I did, you get this amazing sound that you cannot like. I can't even describe it.
Yeah.
It's great.
You want to give him a demonstration?
Like you can't beat it. Like watch,
No.
like listen to this. You can't beat that.
No, not
You
at all.
can't beat American V8. The only thing that I think might sound maybe a little better or just as good is an Italian V12.
Ooh, yeah, you got that spot on.
But other than that, this American V8, it's loud, it's obnoxious, it's great.
I like my cars like how I like my music. Loud.
I thought you were gonna say something completely different. We'll leave that for later.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this sounds great.
I mean, for a truck, this thing, it gets up good too.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck! I'm gonna.
I was 60 miles an hour and I didn't even floor it. It's great.
My phone attacked. We gotta edit that out.
Nah, dude, that's fun. That's funny.
No, I said.
Oh. It's alright.
You know, you get the point.
You get the point. It's
And
fast and loud.
The mic, yeah, it might sound kind of like muffled because all the windows are closed. But if we open it, then the sound of the wind is just gonna completely just destroy it. But you cannot appreciate the way this car sounds unless you're either in it or you're standing, you know, beside it, or you're just walking by or the car next to it.
I heard this thing drive by on a video for the first time because I sit inside, so you never know what it sounds like outside. I heard it and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so good.
Yeah, dude.
And I was just cruising.
Just cruising just sounds great. So, he's never actually heard his truck pull away, but
Except for today when you drove it.
Oh yes, but yes,
It sounded nice. I liked it.
You'd have to have somebody punch it for you.
Yeah, I know.
He's still waiting on that one. Most
It's
people,
my baby.
yeah, most people who own cars like this will never hear, unless they know someone else, will never hear what their car sounds like when it pulls away.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because you know you have a beautiful car.
Yeah, and I'd like to take care of this.
Hey man,
Expensive.
for next car, should we leave that one a mystery?
We'll leave my next car a mystery. Hopefully we'll be
Real
able to
soon.
we'll be able to do a video of that one. That'll be great.
Yeah. Right now it's pending.
It's pending. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pending. That's a good word for it. Pending.
Pending.
It's been pending for like months now.
It's ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
it shouldn't have been. If
It should not have been this long.
month tops. 1 month.
Yeah.
But you know what? Excitement is great.
It's worth the wait.
Definitely. All right. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
Till next time.